Okay, today I'm gonna work on this bow. I have a little bit of free time. So basically, the idea of this is we've gotten to the stage where everything's kind of squared out, it's starting to look more like a bow, but we still need to take off material from the belly, and we need to make our handle and just kind of get it a little bit better. I am also gonna try to get this twist out, which some people will do this now, but I think I'm going to prefer to do this at the end after we get it thinned out, just so it's easier to bend. But there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just preference, like I said. And then once we get done with that, I'll get a little file and I'll kind of time lapse through taking off this bark layer, kind of. So that'll be fun. But to start, I'm going to, like I said, use the tape measure and measure out about 3/8, not here, but a little, probably about a ½ inch, and just kind of go all the way down. That's going to be the bow, and that's for if you want to use this bow for hunting or a relatively fast bow. You want it to be kind of thick, like about, like I said, 3/8. But beyond that, it's we're just going to draw out, and I'm content with actually leaving it this thickness for the handle, and it's going to be pretty easy. It's really easy. I prefer to use a pencil. It kind of sucks to write on pencil on the wood on the side, but if you take your time and got everything relatively smoothed out, it should be pretty easy. But let's get started with the process. Okay, so now that we're ready to get started, I did run and get my tape measure. It's a little bit jammed, but so I did check, and you wanted to get it about 3/8 for this area. So we're going to mark it a little bit above that at about ½ inch, just to give us some leeway, since, like I said, I'm not an expert at making bows. I'm going to be using a draw knife. And it's pretty easy to go a little bit too deep with the draw knife if you're not being patient. So yeah, it just gives us a little bit more room for error. I'm also going to take note the handle area, and here from the middle, when we measure, the 2 inches and the 2.5 inches or whatever, there's this is the fade. So we're gonna take into account that, and the fade's just gonna be kind of like a 45-degree angle curve up into the handle section, and yeah, it should be a nice little touch. So I'm gonna keep these lines continuous. So we'll say M, and then from here to here, roughly, is the fade, and then you can kind of eyeball it. It's not going to be super crucial, but I'm just going to leave it about this thickness, give or take, and I'll just copy this on the side, on the other side. Oh, I got it switched up. Got it reversed. So we got the medium or the middle, and then kind of just keep it around this line. And like obviously when I get down here, it'll make more sense, and I kind of do the handle towards the end. So, and then we'll measure out the 1/2 inch, and we're measuring from this yellow, where the brown meets the yellow, kind of down here. And from where I can tell, it's kind of hard to do this with one hand. And then we'll repeat on this side. And we'll call that good. And we'll just continue this line all the way down to the ends, and likewise, and draw the same thing on this back. Doesn't look like it doesn't look like much now, but when we're done, it'll be all rounded out and look all pretty. So, and this is all the handle width and length is this is about 2 inches wide. Yeah, about 1 7/8, give or take, maybe 1 3/4. Usually I like it about 2 inches, give or take, but it's all personal preference. As we get down to the nitty gritty, I'll say what else you can do. You can do stuff like, you can cut off a little area for a rest, but I like to shoot off the knuckle, so just to keep it simple. I don't want to go in there and mess anything up at the very end. But yep, let's continue on with this, and I'll show you all when it's done. Okay, so I finished roughing out some of these lines, or the 1/2 inch, and as you can see, this is just an example I wanted to point out of why you want to pick really straight pieces of wood or branches when you're picking bow staves or trees, because look how much nicer this looks. Just straight, you can see the grain, you can see the layers. Then compare that with this knotted mess. It gets all knotted and twisted, and yeah. So I got to take some time around this, and it's going to make this bill a little bit more difficult, but it gives the bow character as well. So, it ebbs and flows. But enough with the talk. Let's go back outside, and we're gonna kind of start cutting these lines, getting it down to more of a nice, usable shape. Today, the only tools I'm probably going to use are the hatchet, the file, and then the draw knife, which I dropped back there, but you saw it last video if you've been keeping up. I also use the tape measure and pencil, as you saw earlier, so it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to start removing some material from the back since I have a little bit, and once I get close enough to use the draw knife, or about, let's say, 1/4 inch from the marks, I'll start using the draw knife, and I'm just removing the large amounts from the tips. I'm not doing anything with the handle right now. That's going to be more intricate, more delicate work. So we're doing some big scale removal on the bow. Get a little bit closer. Switch arms because I'm getting tired. I already went to the gym today, so that was a mistake. And the axe is seeming to take off a lot of material like I wanted it to. We're about halfway done with this left side, or this top side, so should be pretty quick. But I'm also getting a workout in. So. Okay, so I got about that close to the line, like I said, and I'm gonna be a little bit more interested here. I can leave it a little bit thicker because I want to be more delicate because this is my handle area. And now I'm just gonna kind of cut it, and I'm gonna remove that area on this other side. So obviously you guys just watch me clear out the top. Now I'm gonna clear out the bottom, so you don't really need to see the bottom. Just because I know this video is gonna be a little bit long. But when we switch over to the draw knife, I'll be sure to bring it back over and do the same thing again. Back to the draw knife and my makeshift draw horse. So if you hear rustling, it's because I put a plastic bag over the end of this to prevent more mud from collecting on the bottom. So let's see. This is actually pretty close to being good. getting to the point on here where it's easy to ruin your bow. And I'm starting to see some splits and stuff that I didn't see before, which is kind of a bummer. But really all it means is that this bow could be a little bit lighter than I want it to be, but obviously it's not. Like I said, I didn't cut this myself. This was given to me. I didn't seal the ends. So usually when you harvest a tree or a stave, you want to seal the ends, leave the bark on, and you can still quarter it, but just leave on the ends of the top and bottom, just put like glue, or you can put wood glue or paint it with acrylic paint. Even pine pitch probably works, but and then you let it dry for 6 months to a few years. You can do green, but it's going to split like this. So while it's drying, what the splitting means is it's drying too quickly. So just things to note. Like I said, it's not the end of the world for this project, but it is a bummer because I wanted it to be nice. So. Ooh, it's a bad split right here. It'll be okay, I think. I wonder what's caused that one. But it splits all the way up here. Like I said, we'd be okay. It just kind of messes with the plan. But we might be able to get through it, but I'm not sure. Because it's not in the front. We'll see. Got some ways to go. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I could put some epoxy or something, but when I get to the length, and just seal it up. But these are the parts that need to be bending the most, so that may or may not work. That's a bummer. If it fails on me, we'll probably have some more stuff that's a little bit better, and I'll just go through that whole, I'll just redo it. Doesn't mean to get through them anyways. So, I'm gonna start doing this side, and then I'll go to the file and we'll see what happens. Okay guys, I got it kind of thinned down. I ran into a few issues. There's a few cracks on the top, the nice part of course. So there's one right here around that knot, and then there's two forming kind of up here, but they don't look crazy deep, thankfully, so they shouldn't impact the bow too much. I'm now don't feel comfortable using the draw knife anymore because it's taking off a little bit too much, and I'm gonna move on to the more slow, relaxing part, which is using a rasp. This is just like a 7 or 8 inch rasp I got from Lowe's. It works okay. It's better if you could have, it works better if this is held down somewhere, if you're kneeling on it or something where it's not moving, and you can use the abrasive side and just really get down to it. So yeah, I'll do a little bit of that, and then I'll start calling it for this video. The next video is going to be more tedious, more tillering, what you can do for tillering, and it doesn't need to be overly complex, but it's something you should definitely take your time with, and otherwise it can negatively impact your build. So yeah, let's just get on with the filing. I'm gonna try to get around these little pieces for the handle, and then kind of work on this side, and then just some of the little more intricate areas. And I'm just gonna hold it in my hand today, and whatever I don't get done on video, I'll just do on my own time. because then I can listen to the radio and my music, whatever, and not worry about copyright. I actually need to touch up some of these areas with that axe. Just some sides. Wait, I actually think I have some chisels, so this will go way faster. Hold. Okay. So I have some Harbor Freight wood files. They're tiny files, they're not that good. But I got them for free, so I'll use them. Let's see. What's the right tool for the job? I also got a more abrasive file, but this one, sometimes it comes off. So. Okay, so you've seen enough of me filing and doing all this stuff, so I'm gonna jump to what I'm gonna work on it with off camera because this is running a little bit long, and I'll show you what happens at the end. So as you can see, the sun is setting and I've been out here filing for a long time. It's definitely, doing things by hand takes a little bit longer, as you can assume, but I still got this down to kind of a bowish shape. As I will reiterate the errors or the issues that I'm running into. So I have this crack around this knot, and it looks like it's not crazy deep, but it's definitely gonna bring it down a little bit, probably pushing the limit. So this bow might be a little light. And then this one up here, this split, and it didn't look like it, but it goes pretty deep. So it'll probably break to about down here, making this a little bit weird, but I think it could also be okay if I leave this side. So I might do that, or I'm thinking about cutting off here, removing that much down here, and then now I have a short bow. So it'll be fine regardless. I'm not too worried about it. It just, you never know what you're gonna get. So that's what I wanted to show, is just getting the bow shape and then just kind of filing it down to that 1/2 inch to 3/8 or 3/5. I can't remember whatever I said earlier in the video. And then just kind of taking the time to make it feel all smooth and pretty with the file and some sandpaper. But we'll save that for a later video. Next time I'll have the bow ready for the tillery, and we'll be moving on and getting to the final steps.